So, we've busted many of the myths about disabled folks and sexuality, talked about abuse and victimization, but what makes disabled folks more vulnerable to that abuse and victimization? Of course, individual factors will always play into those vulnerabilities, and we can't know or identify all of those here. We do know that there are some, let's call them umbrella vulnerabilities, that are more universal, so let's talk about those. The first one is a lack of social skills and social isolation. Lack of social skills can come from a lack of teaching, but for the most part, it ties into social isolation. Put bluntly, if we don't have a chance to get out and socialize with others, we don't develop social skills and we're lonely. When folks are lonely, it's easy to take advantage of them because they'll do all kinds of things to keep a friendship. That lack of sexual knowledge and education keeps popping up its ugly head, doesn't it? Lack of access to comprehensive, inclusive, accessible, sex-positive sexuality education makes anyone, including disabled folks, more vulnerable to abuse and victimization. Sexual knowledge is power, as it means you know what's okay, and generally when you're being taken advantage of, and it means you know that there are people to talk with. This helps folks create and maintain safe boundaries. Lack of knowledge can also mean that folks don't even know if what's happening to them is abusive. And if they're lonely, any attention may feel better than none. Many folks with IDD and other disabilities are dependent on others, sometimes for a lifetime. Dependency covers a pretty wide range. It could mean help with activities of daily living like hygiene, support with engaging in your community, professional appointments, you name it. While we're all dependent on others for some things, those we support are usually more dependent. Why does this make them more vulnerable? Frankly, it increases the sheer number of people involved in their lives, potentially with power over them. That power differential is important for us to think about. In most cases, if someone is paid to be your supporter, they hold the power in that relationship. Communication can be a huge issue in making someone vulnerable to abuse and victimization. If someone doesn't know the language of disclosure, they don't have the words to tell what happened, and they're at higher risk. If someone uses an augmentative or alternative communication device, AAC, on their phone or iPad or any other way to communicate not using their voice, have we given them the pics to tell or say no, or the signs for their body parts? Do we listen when they tell us something is wrong? This all leads to compliance. Virtually all the systems that exist to support disabled people, including behavioral systems and interventions, are structured to reward compliance or punish or consequence non-compliance. Compliance-based approaches to anything creates perfect victims. If someone wants to please you by being compliant, they won't tell. They'll comply for minimal rewards, think cigarettes or pop, and believe they're doing what they're supposed to do. Predators, whether they work in the disability sector or encounter folks with IDD elsewhere, they can see this desire to please and often desperate desire for a friend, and they'll exploit it to their benefit, whether for sexual abuse or any other kind of abuse or victimization. We could go on and on listing individual vulnerabilities. These vulnerabilities don't mean that we lock people up and decrease their access to the community. It means the exact opposite. People who have larger circles of natural supports, meaning friends and family, they're more likely to have better social skills, more people to talk with, better boundaries. So let's support folks to get out there.